Namaste. We will begin with our studies on the Bhagwat Gita. So, in the introduction, we discussed why exactly Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, go ahead with the war. Because don't take things on personal grounds. Just see the big picture. Understand that your dharma is to establish righteousness in the world, and there is nothing here on personal grounds, so go ahead with the action. Now, the basis of this teaching lies in the fact, why is it being said here that don't take things on personal grounds and, your relationships, the uncles and grandsons you're seeing in front of you, ignore that and focus on your duty in the present context. Why this is being said is, because in the second chapter, Lord Krishna tells Bhagwat Gita, your very nature is the self, the soul, not the body and mind. Not the body and mind. All relationships are body-based or mind-based, isn't it? The relationship, blood relationships, or the relationship with friends, they are all based on the body or the mind. But here it is being said that your real nature is far beyond body and mind. You are the immortal soul, which functions through this body-mind complex, which is manifesting through this body-mind complex. So then your duty in life, your righteous conduct in life becomes the foremost thing in your life. And in the present context, since your relatives are on the side of unrighteousness, it is only dharmic, it is only right for you to fight them. So this is the message being given in the Bhagwat Gita. But in the second chapter, in a big way, Lord Krishna actually dwells upon the nature of the human soul, the nature of the Atman. He tells Arjuna, dwell a little on your own real nature, which is the unchanging, indestructible, immutable Atman of the nature of pure consciousness. This is the real you, which air cannot blow away, which weapons cannot cleave, which water cannot moisten. This is your real nature. And dwelling on this, take up your bow and fight the enemy. Because remember, your own real nature is impersonal. It is of the nature, you are of the nature of consciousness itself, pure being itself. See, the very word aham comes from as dhatu, which means that which exists, which has permanent existence, being, us. And that is why you are only pure existence itself, functioning through a body-mind complex. The word jagat comes from gam or gacha, which means that which keeps changing. This entire scenario in front of us will keep changing. But the actual core of existence which you are, pure consciousness, that will never change. So Lord Krishna draws Arjuna's attention to this fact again and again. See, this is your real nature. And standing on this, you should perform righteous action, your duty in this particular context, and not get carried away by your emotions in the present state. So then what is the nature of this soul? There are very beautiful shlokas, verses in the Bhagwat Gita on this. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinani naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sayati navani dehi. Which means as we wear new clothes and discard old ones, we wear new bodies and discard the old body. Body and mind, this entire equipment is worn. It is changeable. It is transformable. But who is it who wears? That is the immortal soul. It is the unchanging, immutable you. And the body and mind it's just like the dress you wear. You wear a new dress and then you may change it for another one. So it is like that. And that is why have some knowledge of the real you, the unchanging you. And then he goes on into so many verses on this, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. Which means, you see, it is uncleavable by any weapon. It cannot be blown away by the wind. It is unwettable, or you cannot moisten it. And it cannot be blown away by the wind. It cannot be burnt by the fire. This is the nature of the soul. Achedyoyam, uncleavable. Adahyoyam, unburnable. Akledyo ashosya evacha. It cannot be wetted. It cannot be dried. Nitya, it is eternal. Sarvagata, all-pervading. Sthanur, the only stable thing. Achaloyam, unshakable. Sanatanaha, everlasting, ever-present. And then it is avyaktoyam, it is unmanifest. Achintyoyam, it is unthinkable, uninferable. And avikaryoyam, immutable. Uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam natvam shochitu marhasi. Know everybody, this to be everybody's real nature. So don't cry over whatever I will be killing them. No. You can only kill the body. But the immortal soul lives on. Dehi nityam avadyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitu marhasi. The Dehi, the indweller within the body, he is immortal. He lives forever. But the Deha, that is destructible. That may fall. So that is why don't unnecessarily grieve. At this point of time, just do your duty and bring peace and happiness into this world. Because the people whom you are considering your relatives, they are on the side of unrighteousness. So this automatically becomes your duty that you should put them down in the present context. Then he says, you see, what is the need to understand this, the real nature of the human soul, so that we know where to place our identity. Once you start thinking you are the self animating this body, there's a paradigm shift in your thinking. There's a paradigm shift in the way you perceive others. When you have only body-based relationships, it's a different way of thinking. When you have a soul-based relationship, your very paradigm of the relationship will change. So this is the understanding here. That is why this knowledge is being given. Stand on that. You see, as we mature in life, we must understand this, that our emotion, our thought, all of this is not the final truth about our life. Yes, it is there. It brings some amount of value to our lives. But the truth about this, they are all changing variables. The thought, the emotion, even the will, these can all be ever-changing variables. But there is something behind these, behind the mind itself, which is unchanging. And that is your real identity. That is sthano. That is immovable. So, first establish yourself in that. And using that power, using that knowledge, you will relate with others in a divine way, in a far better way. Your relationship will not be based on your likes and dislikes. Your relationships will be more stable. They will be more duty-oriented than right-oriented. They will be more mature and not reactive. So, the flimsiness of our emotion and thought without getting established in the knowledge of the self is being shown here. See, please remember this. In practical life, many times this is a very huge context. It was a war in case of Arjuna. But in our everyday lives, with our little problems, please see to what extent our decisions are affected by our conditioned thought and emotion. And you will understand the beauty of the Bhagwat Gita. Many times we are led away by our emotions. We are led away by our conditioned thinking. And we consider that final because we are so attached. We are attached to the false self. So then this appears to be something tremendous. But if you take the standpoint of the jnani, the knower of the self, it is a fact that anything concerning the body and mind will become secondary for him, because it is a case of misplaced identity. He has found his real identity. And so his duty consciousness, his commitment will be enormous. It will be complete. It is not a variable. So this is what this is the great message of the Bhagwat Gita. Understand your own real nature first, and then your duties will become clear to you. So, yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha. He is the real man of knowledge who has understood this, the nature of the self. And so all of his activity is without any selfish gain. It is not for himself. It is not for personal gains. And hence kama sankalpa varjitaha. There is no personal desire in his sankalpas. In whatever he has decided, there is no personal element there. He is doing for the general good of the whole world. It is a very elevated ideal. Think and see. Because jnana, the nature of knowledge is, it burns away all impurities, desires and wrong karma. And it leaves you with true, pure knowledge and absolute duty consciousness. So this is the great message of the Bhagwat Gita. See, it is such a powerful scripture, such a powerful message, that even if a little you can draw into your everyday life, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, it will liberate your mind. It will save you from great fear. You can find the beautiful demonstration of this in the lives of great people. You know, Vivekananda, when he was in the West, and also when he came back to India, many times he was criticized, and quite badly. You know, one day somebody came and told him, well, Swamiji, you are honoring this man, but he speaks ill of you. Swamiji said, what of that? I praise him for his good qualities, and I will continue to do that. You see, when there is no personal element, your very ideation, mentation, your attitude changes. You will give things the respect they deserve, and not because they are important to you, but because they are important for this world. Everything is to be measured on its own might and not on how it is useful to you. Who are you? So the whole thing comes to this. Understanding the crux of the human personality structure will change your paradigm of duty, of course, action, of meaning in life, of purpose, and of goal. So that is why learn to first identify yourself rightly. In the Upanishadic literature, the whole focus is on this, understanding the core of the human personality structure. What is its nature? Who is the real man? What is it? Is it just the body and mind, or is there something more to that? And the literature is replete with wonderful words. In English, we don't have equivalents. That is why we keep using the words consciousness. But in Sanskrit, you have so many words for this core of the human personality paradigm, which is of the nature of pure consciousness, the Atman. The words are Chaitanya, Chit, Chiti, Samvit, Bodh. So many such words are used. And if you actually understand the different shades of meaning, that itself is such a wonderful experience. So that is why you see Bhagwat Gita is called the essence of the Upanishads, because it is telling you, it is giving you the same knowledge and telling you how to apply it in everyday life. Understand that the real you, the I sense in us, that comes from a unit of pure existence, which is completely independent of the body-mind complex. And that is why the body and mind become instruments in your hands. And that is why duty consciousness, that is the primary thing about human life, not your silly thought and emotion. And to the extent you can align your thought, emotion, your entire mind towards your duties, the actual righteousness of your life, the highest value of your life, to that extent you will be successful and spiritual in life. If you're just carried away by your thoughts and emotions, which are totally untrained in most minds, then, and well, you consider that to be your duty, then that will be a really sad state of existence actually, because you will keep making the wrong decisions. So this is a very great lesson which we have to learn from the Bhagwat Gita, how to orientate ourselves rightly in life through self-knowledge. Because without this knowledge, you never know where you will go, which direction you will turn according to your, today it's not even your own thoughts and emotions. It is about peer pressure. It is about the influences that fall upon you, the net influences, all of these. So putting you on your own feet is the purpose of the Bhagwat Gita, so that you may stand as a man in this world and take decisions which are always right and which will only bring peace and benefit to the world. So this is the message of the second chapter of the Bhagwat Gita. We will continue further. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.